Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to High Trust Coaching Live. I'm Hope Borman. I'm the Divisional President for High Trust Coaching, and I have with me today one of our very favorite coaches, Trevor Hammon. Good morning, Mr. Trevor.
Good morning.
How was Hawaii?
Hawaii was amazing. Working while staring out at the beaches and the palm trees was pretty fun. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for joining our group, joining the Coaches Corner group while you were in Hawaii. We were all sitting there going, yeah, that looks like fun.
I mean, kids were in school anyway, it was interesting. They're Zooming and that's the world we're in. So I figured let's go tropical and work and enjoy some beach time as well.
Absolutely. I love it. So kids must have really appreciated that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they did. They had a blast.
Good daddy. Okay, so for those of you that don't know Trevor Hammond, and I know a lot of people do, but for those of people that don't know Trevor, as I mentioned a minute ago, is one of our certified high trust coaches. He coaches our master level coaching members. He's also an esteemed member of our elite group, and he also leads a very, very high performing team. Trevor, you want to talk a little about that?
Thank you. Yes. I mean, it all connects, I am such a student of the high trust ways. I learned them. I've applied them for, most of my 2-year career. And then I teach others, the same stuff. And so I'm just constantly a sponge, and being a high trust coach allows me just to dive into it on an even more professional level with more people around the country. So it's just an awesome foundation. So I get to coach my team here in the Portland and Washington area, and then coach loan officers around the country who are growing and improving, and then being part of the elite group. Just always being on the cutting edge with the top performers in the entire country.
Yes.
That's how I like to invest my time and money. That's how I grow, and that's what's gotten me here.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I mean, I love that. And, it's really kind of interesting. I don't know if everybody knows that. People that are not in the coaching world may not know that all of our coaches are actively engaged in the business. They're all, successful professionals who have given of their time, which their hourly rate is pretty high up there. To give back and to coach our coaching members. So I don't know if people really realize that. And I thought maybe it'd be a good idea to mention it. So the reason why we bring High Trust Coaching live every week is to bring insight, impact, and help you grow your business. So we want to just kind of jump right in here. And today, Trevor and I are going to talk about time. It's something that we all need more of these days, and maybe not. We do the best use of our time. So let's jump into it, Trevor. You lead a high-performing team. Let's talk a little bit about how you train time, or what are the biggest time traps that people jump into.
Well, as we are talking about in the book, I mean, the yes trap, I think, is probably where it starts for a lot of people. We are naturally pleasers. We love to take care of others. We love to help. If you're in this business and you're successful in this business, that's typically how you're wired. The problem is then we say yes to too many things. And what I have found over my years personally, and what I find in those that I'm coaching, is too much of our time is we're allowing the less important things to get in the way of the most important things. And that can be the yes trap, the control trap, all these traps that were kind of is our focus today.
Sure.
And you look at how you spend your day, whether it's the 80-20 rule, right? And you realize, wait, I'm in sales. My job is to go find clients, find business partners, add value to those people. But gosh, am I doing that only 20% of my entire day? Maybe less? What the heck am I doing the other 80% of my day? And for me, I started learning these principles probably second year in this business. I went to my first sales mastery, and I immediately hired, my own part-time assistant, who I still stay in contact with. She's out of the business now, but calls me for mortgage advice, and still near and dear to me. And I just realized I had to let go of some of the things that I was just holding on, like as if I could only be the one to do them. And as soon as I did that, I started scaling slowly but surely.
Yeah, that's a big leap. I mean, I know in hindsight, it seems like it was, something that you needed to do, so you did it. But I think that's one of the things we work with our coaching members the most on is the letting go part.
Yeah.
The art of letting go.
And, it's scary. Some of the mindset things that I often will talk about that I had to learn myself is you never, this is about leverage, really. If I back up for a second, this is about leveraging either systems, automation, or people, right? My people, my team are my best source of leverage that allows me to do what I'm gifted at and get rid of the stuff that I just plain suck at or I don't enjoy doing. And so there's no overhead. You just got to, you can't ever look at hiring somebody onto your team as a cost or overhead. That is the wrong mindset. That's a scarcity mindset, but that is the mindset that keeps a lot of people ever from expanding. I helped a lot of people add to their team this last year and try to do it in the safest, most, constructive way. It's an investment. And when you invest in help, you expect a rate of return, right? That's investing. When I put money into the market, I expect a rate of return. When I put money into a person, it's okay to expect a rate of return, but a lot of people just don't take the time to get clear on that. So if I'm only saying yes to all this because I have nobody else to give it to or nobody else can say yes to it, so it's got to be me, which is where a lot of people have always been in this industry, you got to get some help. I mean, you can say no and just do less business, which he talks about in the book. I mean, that's always an option, right? If you're just working 80 hours a week, sure. You just say no to some of that tougher business or those high maintenance referral partners, the people that you're just not connecting with, for example. I mean, nobody's fault. Or you invest in help and you teach them how to say yes to things while you go say yes to building relationships, building trust, advising clients, the things you love to do probably.
Trevor, you mentioned early at the beginning of your conversation about mindset. And, that really kind of stuck out for me because I think that it is that mindset of I can't afford someone or I have to wait until something, we don't really know what that is. Or what if the market changes and now I've got this person on board with me? How do you respond to your coaching members when you're building team with them?
Yeah, so much of this business is mindset. And my own team probably gets tired of me talking about mindset all the time, but it really is, there's two sides of every coin.
Yeah.
And I learned through a lot of failure. I mean, I've made so many mistakes, but as long as you learn from them, that's great. I think to give somebody confidence is defining how will I know if this is working? How will I measure this? So we spend a lot of time on truly measuring everything in your business. And it's not easy, but for example, if I'm going to hire somebody onto my team, let's just keep it simple, loan officer assistant.
Okay.
First of all, be very, very clear about what they're going to do right on a daily basis. What's their focus? But the other part of that nobody spends enough time on is how will I know if this person's working? How will I know if they're not? And how do I get them to know if it's working and not, right? And how will I measure it? Whether it's a productivity measure, am I working fewer hours? Is there a way to measure how stressed I am every week? I talked to my own assistant about that. She's like, how would I measure whether you're more stressed or less stressed? It's like, survey me. Survey me every week at the end of the week. A scale of 1 to 5. How stressed are you at this week? And there's so many cool, fun ways of measuring, right? Yeah. And your teammates, if they know how to win, if they know what the scoreboard looks like, it can be really successful. It's work. It is absolutely work, but you can manage them or you can lead them. And there's a huge difference in those two things. And managing is a lot of work and takes a lot of time. And I believe you manage processes and you lead people. And that's a mindset. And I've had conversations this week with our coaching clients around that. They start talking about managing people. I was like, whoa. You manage processes, you lead people. How would you lead this person? How would you empower them to to find their own answers, right? To be resourceful. If you keep just giving them the answers, then yeah, you're saying yes in a way, right? You're always going to be the person they have to come to solve a problem. That's
I
not
love
who you
that.
are.
You manage processes, you lead people. That should be on everybody's desk. We manage processes and lead people. I
Bumper
love
sticker.
that. Is that yours?
I read it somewhere. I'm not that
Right.
smart. I just learn. I read, I learn, I listen, and then I apply it. And but that's a mindset. It really, again, the things that help me is just what I then pay it forward and help other people figure out. It's you try to manage people. Nobody really wants to that. And guess what? I don't believe people want to be managed.
No, they don't.
They do want to be led. They do want to be
Inspired.
inspired, right? They do want to be empowered.
Right.
If they feel like they're being managed, it's a lose-lose there. I don't want to manage them and they don't want to be managed. So why am I don't even like the title manager in our industry, but that's a whole other topic.
Right.
I'm forced to be called a branch manager, and that's the worst title ever in my opinion. But
I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, back to our topic.
I think we should retitle you like market leader or something like that. Industry leader, market leader.
Lifelong learner.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Lifelong learner, student and a teacher.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you mentioned earlier about, knowing, what that person's going to be doing when you're bringing someone on. And I think one of the things that I get into conversations with our coaching members on is, what is the onboarding process? What does the company offer as far as their training is concerned? What is the operations, or how do you onboard somebody in an effective, efficient way?
Yeah, because it's kind of messy, and I've got coaching clients. I've seen people make moves to new companies or bring on team members, and it can be a beautiful thing or it can be an ugly thing, and usually it's an ugly thing.
Usually it's not an ugly thing. Yeah.
It's stressful. So one of the things that I think helps is obviously being very clear about their area of focus and making sure they want this job, for one. Okay. If you hire right, it's a lot easier. If you hire wrong, it never gets much better. Right. No. And I'm really, this year, one of my biggest things is #A players only. A players only, because A players make my life easier.
Yes.
A players will get us through any market fluctuations. A players pay for themselves. And so I've been just spending a lot of time defining what is an A player. And that's now becoming part of my interview process, actually. And I'm literally saying, what will get you this job is your ability to do X, process loans, help me complete my loan applications, chase down paperwork. What will keep you on our team is how well you do those things within my culture as a teammate to the rest of us. Are you showing up and lifting the mood and the attitude around you to all of us? Are you bringing something to the table, or are you just sucking the joy right out of our team, right? Because there's already enough stress in this business.
Right.
Then I think, so that's just kind of the hiring process is probably that's the 80% of this whole thing.
Yes.
30, 60, 90 is something I then want people to do. What does the first 30 days look like? 60 days look like, and 90 days look like. And none of these are easy. So I'm very empathetic, but that's why you need thinking time, in the morning, or you need to really think through, because you owe it to that person. By the end of the first 30 days, I hope that you can do this. I hope that you understand how to do this. I hope you're taking this off my plate. By 60 days, I hope you're now being able to do these 3 more things. And by 90 days, I hope this is happening. I hope this is what it looks like. And now I've got some semblance of a way to measure the progress, right? And then what they'll say is, well, what are the opportunities for growth with your team? I don't know. That's up to you.
I love that.
I'm not holding that, burden.
Trevor, I hear so many of our coaching members promising, when they're hiring an LOA, in that interview conversation, they're already in this place of, and you could be a loan officer, and I can help you, become a loan officer and have your own loan origination business. And I'm saying, back up. I said, if you're bringing on an LOA who has aspirations, in that nature, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
They got to give you and invest and commit to you for a minimum of a year.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're going to invest your time and energy in helping them to learn the business, they need to give you a minimum of a year.
Love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a confidence thing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't use the word delegation. It's all
Mm-hmm.
collaboration. And that again, mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's things I don't want to do.
Right.
There's things I hate doing in this business.
Mm-hmm.
I've never enjoyed calculating income.
Mm-hmm.
Never. If I ever had to do that again, I'd probably have to find a new career.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean it doesn't need to be done, and it's critical to our job and this business. So what I have to go do is find somebody else who really loves doing that and is great at that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's called collaboration. That's not called delegation. It's not beneath me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nobody's too good to wash dishes at the office. Nobody's too good to follow up on leads. It just doesn't always have to be me. And so you're coming on board, and here's what I need you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Someday, absolutely, I will support you in going the sales route or a higher level support route. If you want to learn how to be a processor, an underwriter someday, whatever your aspirations are, that's awesome. It means you have drive.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get back to, I need you here now. This is what I need.
Yes.
Is that cool with you? Because I don't want to every 30 days, hey, I want to do more. Hey, I need you here. I need you in this lane.
Yeah, exactly.
And once we get that dialed in, cool. Guess what? You can train the next person to do that, and I'll help you go to that next level.
Right.
Because I don't want to train another person. If you can train that person, now we're talking.
Exactly. What I do with our coaching members is I phase it out, which is basically what you just said on the 30, 60, 90. But I phase it out. So we come up with our phase one, tasks, roles, and responsibilities 2 and 3. And when my coaching member is asking me saying, so-and-so is ramping up really fast, I'd like to move to phase 2, in 24 days or 23 days. And my question is, are they proficient with it? Have they owned it? These phase 1 tasks, and they'll say, well, 80%. I said, well, let's go the whole 30 days and let's get them to 100% proficient at those tasks and that type of thing, because you move somebody along too fast and then, it just starts to blur. Right.
Yeah, and it's what's best for them too. This is a win-win atmosphere you're trying to build, hopefully, and they want to feel confident. They want to feel excited. Like, man, I am crushing this role. I've owned it to the nth degree, and now I'm ready for more. That makes them feel good.
Yes, exactly, and they feel as though they've graduated in some way. Yes.
Yeah, I like that. Yes.
So, and that's again goes back to what you were talking about with regard to empowerment.
Yep.
Right. So let's dial it back just a minute or two. You mentioned about the mindset the first time you hire somebody and the mindset around doing that. I think that there's a lot of people that really kind of fall into that trap, Trevor, of I'm not ready yet, and it's not time yet, or when is it time? And so, let's talk to some of those people right now about making that decision and helping them, kind of turn that corner.
It's, what I think it is, it's confidence in yourself. I think there's a lot of fear that if I bring somebody onto my team and I'm going to invest, let's just say $3,000 to $5,000 a month into someone, there's the fear that I won't go out and do what I'm supposed to do, because now I have no excuses, and that's an honest fear I think a lot of people have, whether they admit it to anybody else or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have somebody here for 20 to 40 hours a week, which means I should have an extra 20 to 40 hours a week to go prospect and sell and add value and get more business. If that new business doesn't come, how am I going to be looked at? Right? How am I going to be perceived? So that's a real thing. So you got to be very confident that no, man, if I could be freed up from this, I will go crush it out there. I will get my behind out of here. I will go find 5 more real estate professionals to want to work with me and salivate over having me help their clients. I will go find some financial planners and CPAs. I will start loving on my database like nobody's business because I've ignored them for far too long. You just got to know you're going to go do those. I can't wait to get somebody to take this off my plate. The other thing is that I've done, and here's more relevant, I think, to the market we're in. And I would love comments, by the way. I can't see comments, but if
Yeah,
anybody has
I'm
ideas, I would
not
love
getting
to
a lot
see
of
them.
can't. I got
Okay.
one comment that says "Big fan Trevor." That's what I've got.
Who is it? Oh no,
I did our Facebook user.
probably my mom. So I think the other thing is we knew this market last year wasn't going to last forever. And actually, it was long before last year, right? The whole COVID just took it to another level, and we have been swimming in opportunities, right? And drinking from the fire hydrant without the hose on it. And we've seen in the last couple of days, because this is live right now, we've seen the last couple of days, things potentially, that was Ken Perry.
It's Ken Perry.
Hi, Ken. We have seen what's happened the last couple of days with rates, right? And any unlocked refinances, or most of them, are off the table. What I've been telling anybody we hired a lot of support people brand new to the industry. We look for A players that will teach the skill sets of loans and all that. All of our interviews revolved around this idea of being adaptable and be ready to pivot.
Okay.
And so back to your main question of this onboarding of somebody. This industry, there's a lot of things that I don't like about this industry that I think we need to change, and we need to change together. But one of them is these cycles of hiring a bunch of people and then tons of layoffs, as if we don't know the market's going to change. I mean, it's going to change. It'll always change, right? That's the market. So all of the people we've been hiring, and any of my coaching clients that are hiring, I'm coaching them on when this market turns. Are you okay? Right now, I need you to help get our loans through. I need you to help me with all the leads that are coming at me. But if things slow down, are you okay if I shift you more to the front stage? Would you be comfortable if I had you calling my database, scheduling reviews, following up with my real estate partners to make sure they're happy and see if there's anything I can do to help? Like, go from supporting the business coming in to helping me generate business. And nobody's ever asking those questions up front, because I'm like, I'm here, I'm now, I need this, and market will always be glorious, right? No, of course not. Like, if you've been in this business long enough, this is when we're going to shine. If you are a student of this business, if things slow down, I'm excited, because the things we're doing will stand out more in the marketplace. And that's why I think people need to believe in themselves and be studying how to be successful and how to add value in the lives of the partners and clients, because we get lazy in really good markets. We get sloppy. But if you are hiring people to scale and to leverage and to let go of the things you're not good at or shouldn't be doing that are not dollar productive activities, show them how to have job security. Right. If you're okay moving from this role to this kind of role, guess what? No matter what the market does, I will need you on the team if you can succeed at that and this. And they love that, because they've heard about the industry. They're like,
that makes perfect sense. And as you were talking, I was thinking to myself, okay, so the industry shifts, which we know, it's a given. So when the industry shifts, we in the mortgage industry shift, which means that our team has to shift. Right? So it is an evolving thing. So when you're hiring, to have something like that in your mind when you're bringing people on, and you're wanting, you're bringing on the high SCs to do the detail role. But, it'd be great if they had, a strength in their eye and their customer facing and that type of thing to make that shift right along with you.
Yes. And that's, back to what I said earlier, A players.
Yes.
They'll be successful, whatever you need them to do. And they're a team player. They're always asking, what else can I do to help the team? Those are A player things. What else can I learn? Is there more coaching for me to get better at what I'm doing here for the team? Those are the kind of people you're looking for. Anybody can then learn how to take a 1003. Anybody can learn how to learn your CRM and push out annual review reminders and follow up with a text, follow up with a phone call. Hey, I'm just calling on behalf of Trevor Hammond. It's time for your review. Excited about this. Can we get you on the schedule for 15 minutes with them? That's easy sales. And a lot of great people can do those things.
Sure. Yeah.
So here's another thing I'll give that is time sensitive is, a lot of my coaching conversations this week. It's Wednesday, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
I had a lot of calls yesterday. So what was I just going to say? Because I just saw these messages pop in all of a sudden.
Reluctant to more competitive.
I want to make sure I answer a question before I go off on another tangent. Okay. A players. One, define what an A player is. This is from Mike Lloyd. It looks like. What does that mean to you? What does an A player mean to you? Mm-hmm. They like to be held accountable. Mm-hmm. They like to know how they're measured. What's the scoreboard look like? Mm-hmm. They're people who are always looking to learn and be coached. Mm-hmm. They're always asking, what else can I do to help? Mm-hmm. Those are A player traits. Mm-hmm. And then in coaching, we do DISC testing. Mm-hmm. But back to the thing I was going to share with people that I think is a mindset as well that it's going to be missed by too many people is everybody right now, when the rates go up a little bit, is going to go chase real estate agents. Mm-hmm. And peel that back a little bit. Mm-hmm. Why real estate agents? Mm-hmm. Purchase business, right? Everybody's been telling me I got to reshift my focus to purchase because I've been 50, 60, 70% refinance, whatever your percentage has been. Mm-hmm. But the reality is everybody will be chasing real estate agents. All of a sudden, the realtor is going to be on the other end going, oh my gosh, rates must have gone up.
Right.
Forever, right?
Exactly.
Guess what? Your database of 300 or 3,000 people know people who will be buying houses in the next 6 to 12 to 24 months.
Yeah.
Financial planners, they know people who will be looking to move up, move down, buy investment properties, CPAs. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. So widen your scope of who you're now going to shift to. So if you've waited too long and you're now suddenly going, oh my gosh, like I'm naked and the tide went out.
Right.
I think that's how you say that thing. I don't ever use that analogy, so I won't again. It's not just real estate professionals. Mm-hmm. Diversify your market if you haven't already and talk to a lot of people. And I think your number one is your database. Mm-hmm. If don't look at your database as rates are up, there's no more refinances, don't need to be calling my database. Mm-hmm. That's not how we teach it in high trust. No, right? Law of incubation, right? You got to invest time in those people.
Absolutely.
Because those will be clients for life, and they will, in circle of cash flow, they know people who need to talk to you.
Well, those are the people that served us in 2020. The fact that we had those people in the law of the incubation and we were supporting our database and staying in touch with them and doing annual reviews and all of the things that we teach at High Trust, that has returned our investment tenfold just in 2020. Mm-hmm. I just want to mention one thing. Mike Lloyd is one of our Canadian clients, and Mike and I just had a conversation last week where we had his team. We did a team call with him and his team, and he was talking about the synergy, and you could see the synergy amongst his team. You could see everybody that was just, and they are definitely A players, Mike. So I can tell you that they're definitely A players. But he was telling me that it's interesting that that they may bring somebody else on to the team as their business continues to grow and expand. But it's going to be very important that that person is a good fit for the team. And you've done basically the same thing with your group. So do you do panel interviews when you're bringing people on, new people into the fold?
We don't do panel interviews. We do multiple interviews though. Okay. So I'll have people talk to other people on the team after they've talked with me if I'm the first one vetting them out. Because I'm very clear. And this kind of goes back to Mike's question. You get what you tolerate. Mm-hmm. And our culture is at the point where it will spit the wrong people out. Yeah. If you're a B or C player, you won't last that long in our culture. Mm-hmm. So, for the Mikes of the world, for me, and I know anybody running teams or a branch or larger, I am blown away on all the interviews I do about how bad the cultures are where they're at.
Yeah.
Poor leadership, poor culture. And so if you're a leader listening to this now or down the road when you listen to this, I think A players start with, is your culture based on A players? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How are you investing in people? Because then you'll have more stuff, whatever to stand on when you're interviewing them. You'll be more confident. Like, right. Here's why we only hire A players, because we invest in them. We help coach them. We train them. We help you be not only on the bus, but in the right seat on the bus, right? And we have systems in place and all this. I mean, so if your culture is built in the right way, it's easier to find and then keep the A players.
And keep the A players. And that's huge. That's how you retain team, right?
Right.
Exactly. So we're coming up to the end of our time. I can't believe it, Trevor. Is there one question you wanted to touch on before we jumped off, or?
I think I hope everybody's just really clear. You and I were having a conversation earlier about just kind of what's your theme of the year.
Yes.
If you could really sum it up. And last year skewed a lot of things. We all have to just admit that. We started thinking, man, last year is whatever year is going to be going forward. It can be. Absolutely. I'm a big goal setter. It will take a lot of work. It will take a lot of clarity around how you're going to do it. A lot of grit. My theme is, how do we do what we did last year from a production standpoint, but do it easier, more streamlined, and with less stress, right? Less overtime for my staff, more fun again. We're still stuck at home for a lot of us. Hopefully that opens up, but a lot of you, what is your theme for the year? What's your main focus that your team can all get behind that? They don't necessarily want a repeat of last year. They'd like the revenue, right? But not the way we got it. It was a mess and stressy. Now, how do you do that? And now it's going to have to be more proactive. It's going to be a lot more prospecting, a lot more widening the net, a lot of the bullseye, going after the right targets, right? That fit with your team. It will be a lot of work. So I think these weekly calls hopefully will continue to help everyone get focused on 2021. It's going to be a very different year, but it can be a very successful year too. If you're
Absolutely.
clear.
Yeah. Extremely successful. And, when I think about, my theme, I keep thinking of principle number 1 of Todd's 5 irrefutable principles, and that everything can be improved. So the theme is new, different, better, faster, quicker, more efficient, and time saving. It's just everything new. What can be improved? How can we improve this to where it's just higher and better for everyone?
Yeah. And what an A player is, back to this, Mike commented too, is all of my coaching clients, we've been talking, in my own team, we talked about that first principle this past week. And everybody had record years, yet everybody to a T says, I can't believe how much stuff I still need to improve.
Yeah.
If you're an originator, right, a mortgage loan officer, you made more money than you probably ever made. Yet you sit back and go, oh, I still have so much to improve. So that first principle is key. If people haven't read that, they really got to hop on that. We're breaking that down each week and throughout the month. We're going through each of these principles and really diving into the questions Todd poses. It's a fantastic ebook.
Yeah, it is phenomenal ebook. I know I just started on principle 1 with all of our coaching members. So they have their assignment. So it'll be interesting when we come back to the next session to see what the responses are. But it's so very, very true. I think that a lot of things kind of fell off the side of the table last year with regard to, plans we had in January. So I think that all those things will be back on the table, and the quicker we do that, and the more quicker we implement that and execute on that, I think the better off we're all going to be, right?
A player. One more thing for Mike. Yes. The other thing that A players see opportunities.
Yes.
B and C players see problems.
Yes.
So whenever somebody's coming to you and talking about all the problems, you got to flip that coin back over. So this week, with rates going up, the problem that I keep hearing people, oh my gosh, I have all these unlocked people. The opportunity that I've pointed out, get on your bomb, open up the candlesticks, get a message out to all your real estate partners and anybody that was on the fence about buying, do the math and show them by sitting on the fence what they potentially missed out on. Hurry up and get on, because rates are expected to keep inching up. Right? So you take that problem and turn it into opportunity, and that's what A players do.
Exactly. And that's, based on the forecast we saw, Trev, this wasn't supposed to really be happening until Q3 or end of Q2 and Q3. So it's kind of coming on us a little bit early. So we want to just make sure that we're prepared. And I know our coaching members are. Definitely
prepared. Rates are still great. Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
You look at historically, this is still amazing, but there's always that correction period where clients got a quote from you a week ago and now they're calling you back.
Right.
It's not your fault they took a week to call you back. You
Right.
can't control the market. We get very emotional on this. And again, that's another call too, but that's a lot of the conversations I've been having over the past week and even the past couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
We can't own all that. We don't control any of that.
Exactly.
Just be an advisor, be that sound mind for that client who's freaking out.
Right.
Be that realtor who's freaking out. Just be that steady voice of reason for people and help them make the best decisions possible, and you'll have business.
Absolutely. It's kind of like Todd was talking about in our last quarterly session. He was saying we can't worry about any of that. Which way the election goes, which way the market goes. There's all of those things that we can't control. The only thing we can control is how we conduct ourselves, how we conduct our business, and staying focused. Right?
Yep. Exactly. Yep. You got it.
Thank you so much, Trevor. This was so
fun.
much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. And we'll be back next Wednesday with another Coaching Live. In the meantime, if you're not in coaching, you want to kind of get some information on what it's like to be in coaching, go to hightrustcoaching.com or visit toddduncan.com/coaching and get a free coaching call. We'd love to talk to you. High Trust. Yay.
All right. Thank you, Hope. That was awesome.
Thank you, Trevor.
Thanks for all the listeners.